Hi and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave and this is episode 1828B and today's date is March 29th, 2019 and the title of the episode is Knowingly, Treason, Sedition, #Flagsout. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about staying healthy as we grow older. Stem cells are your body's natural healing system. You get a cut on your finger one day and the next day it heals up. Well, how does that happen? Easy. It's your bodily stem cells at work. Sad part is by age 65, you've lost 90% of your adult stem cells. But now you may be able to boost stem cells levels naturally within 1 hour by 30% with a new plant-based capsule. Everyone's chemistry is different, but for many, this produces a variety of benefits to help reduce the effects of aging. This product comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Please visit their website at stemup.com. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, Q has been telling us to watch the word knowingly. This is very important, and we'll be discussing that in just a minute. And yes, it does have to do with treason, sedition. But first, let's start off with Trump and the Special Olympics. Now, it came out that there was going to be a defunding of the Special Olympics. And Trump came out and he heard his people were doing this and he decided to reverse all of this. And he now stopped it and he authorized the funding. He said the following. He said, the Special Olympics will be funded. I just told my people I want to fund the Special Olympics. I just authorized funding of the Special Olympics, Trump said. I've been to the Special Olympics. I think it's incredible. I just authorized funding. I heard about it this morning, and I have overridden my people. We're funding the Special Olympics. Now, it looks like someone decided to defund the Special Olympics. And it looks like they were, defunding a lot of different programs, and they decided maybe we should do this one, maybe to hurt Trump, maybe to do something. But it looks like Trump stepped in and reversed all of this. Now, once again, it looks like the mainstream media, they are continually trying to find something that they can use against Trump. And I do believe they thought they were going to try to use this against him, but I think Trump found out about this and what they were planning and reversed the whole entire thing. Now, a couple of reports ago, we talked about Jessie Liu, how Trump was going to nominate her as an associate attorney general. And it looks like Jessie Liu decided to withdraw from this. And she did work for George W. Bush from 2006 to 2009. She worked in the United States Department of Justice. And Barr actually wrote that Jessie Liu is one of the finest, most impressive people serving in the Department of Justice. She's been an outstanding United States attorney and would have made an outstanding associate attorney general. But she is withdrawing now, so Trump needs to find a different individual for this position. Now, something very interesting. Yesterday we mentioned how Senator Rand Paul tweeted out the following. Breaking, a high-level source tells me it was Brennan who insisted that the unverified and fake Steele dossier be included in the intelligence report. Brennan should be asked to testify under oath in Congress as soon as possible. Now, as soon as Senator Rand Paul tweeted this out, what did Brennan do? Well, the same exact day, Brennan met with House Democrats to discuss strategy following the collapse of their Russian collusion. And you could see they're very nervous, they're panicking, and they don't know what to do right now. Now, Rand Paul, he is blocking the resolution for the release of the Mueller report. How is he doing this? Well, he wants communications also released of Obama officials that had to do with this. So he blocked the resolution by Senate Democrats for the release of the Mueller report. Paul also wants communication released of crooked Obama officials who spied on Trump, including Brennan, Strzok, Loretta Lynch, and Bruce Orr. Senator Amy Klobuchar, who is one of the Democrat senators running for president, tried to get a unanimous consent for the Senate to pass the resolution. But Rand Paul stepped in and said, listen, if you're going to ask for that, we want the other information. What do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to go along with this? Most likely not. So Rand Paul said, we need to know, was there malfeasance? Was there misuse of power? Did Obama's administration get involved in an election to infiltrate the Trump campaign to trap them? We need to know that, he said. What we need to discover, and we do not yet know, was President Obama involved? Well, from Q, we all know he was. And it looks like all these individuals now are starting to ask questions, and they're starting to block everything the deep state is trying to do by saying, listen, if you're going to do this, we need that. And that is a huge block. Now, will they try to get around it? Of course they will. But you can see they're going to continually try, and they're going to be blocked at every turn. Hey, I guess the Senate was the key. Now, we know that Trump has been using the term fake news since he got into the White House. He continues to hammer the mainstream media, and he tweeted out the following. The fake news media is going crazy. They are suffering a major breakdown, have zero credibility or respect, and must be thinking about going legit. I've learned to live with fake news, which has never been more corrupt than it is right now. Someday, I will tell you the secret. He's letting everyone know that very soon, people will know that the mainstream media is controlled by the intelligence agencies, and they push propaganda. They don't investigate. They're not reporters. They're not journalists. And they're not actually reporting facts. And he's going to let the world know this. And what else he's going to let the world know? That they went along with the spying, with the Russian collusion. They actually pushed it. Now, we know we have a problem at the southern border. Trump has been saying that there's a national emergency on the border. Yesterday, we talked about the mother of all caravans. They're pushing north. They're saying this might get as big as 20,000 people. And Trump started to tweet out, the Democrats have given us the weakest immigration laws anywhere in the world. Mexico has the strongest, and they make more than $100 billion a year on the U.S. Therefore, Congress must change our weak immigration laws now, and Mexico must stop illegals from entering the U.S. through their country and our southern border. Mexico has, for many years, made a fortune off the U.S., far greater than border costs. If Mexico doesn't immediately stop all illegal immigration coming to the United States through our southern border, I'll be closing the border or large sections of the border next week. This would be so easy for Mexico to do, but they just take our money and talk. Besides, we lose so much money with them, especially when you add in drug trafficking, etc., that the border closing would be a good thing. And you could see Trump is out there and he's pushing his agenda to build that wall, which he's doing, and he is stopping the illegals coming in from this country. And we know why the deep state wants the illegals. They have many different agendas associated. One of them is voting. The other one is to blend the country. And the other one is to put them on entitlement programs so they continually vote for them. And of course, they use this to fund their operations. Drugs, human trafficking, you name it. Out in Venezuela, we see the U.S.-backed self-declared interim president Juan Guaido. Well, it looks like he has been barred from holding public office in Venezuela for 15 years by the government. So Venezuelan State Comptroller Elvis Amoroso said that it was the maximum punishment allowable by law and charged that Guaido had inconsistency in his personal financial disclosures and a spending record that did not match his level of income, which is not really surprising because where do you think he's getting his funds from? The deep state, the neocons. So once again, it looks like this is going no place in Venezuela. Or is this supposed to happen? Is this part of the plan? To have Russia come in and block the deep state, the neocons, to expose what they're trying to do. I do believe this. And I think Trump, the Patriots, they're going along with this, making them think that they are actually going to pull this off. And the opposite is going to happen. We see out in Syria, the Syrian military, they seized a large cache of weapons. And guess what? It's U.S.-made anti-tank tow missiles, ammunition boxes, mortars, and assault rifles. These are the weapons they found. Now remember, the deep state, they were funneling these weapons into Syria. And They were coming through Israel. They were coming through Jordan. They were being given to the paid mercenaries. They were using these weapons, and now they're finding them all. Let's get into some of Q's posts here. This is post 3241. And it says, and Q gave us a Twitter link, I should say, Real Donald Trump, Congressman Adam Schiff, who spent 2 years, and this is in brackets in bold, knowingly and unlawfully lying and leaking, should be forced to resign from Congress. And then put knowingly in brackets in bold, knowingly, leaking investigations can lead to forced resignations, and the word force is in brackets in bold. Knowingly disseminating false information is illegal. And then says Gang of Eight Intel. What is the Gang of Eight? The Gang of Eight is a colloquial term for a set of 8 leaders within the United States Congress who are briefed on classified intelligence matters by the executive branch. Specifically, the Gang of Eight includes leaders of each of the 2 parties from both the Senate and the House Representatives, and the chairs and ranking minority members of both Senate Committee and House Committee for Intelligence as set forth by 50 U.S.C. 3093 C2. So who are the Gang of Eight? Ryan, Pelosi, McConnell, Schumer, Nunes, Schiff, Burr, Feinstein. Post 3242 gives us a Twitter link to Representative Doug Collins. Tweeted out the following. The transcripts of Nellie Orr's interview before the Judiciary Committee is now available to all Americans. To read the full transcript, visit dougcollins.house.gov, Nellie Orr. So you can see Doug Collins, his mission right now, and this is part of the plan, is to release all these transcripts. Complete transparency. Q says, in brackets in bold, page 17. So let's go to page 17 and let's see what it says. Mr. Jordan, is it fair to say you work with some of the intelligence-based agencies of the United States government? Miss Orr, yes. Mr. Jordan, did you work for the CIA? Mr. Berman, again, I would raise these same concerns, sir, if we're going to get into specifics. Mr. Jordan, okay. And for how long did you do that, and how many different contracts did you have? Miss Orr, starting in 2000, I did some part-time contracting for Mitre, which is contract work. Annans knew that she worked for the CIA in post 3065. And this was post 2003 within 3065, and it says the farm requires select skill sets. What did we learn this week? And this was the week of March 14th. Nellie Orr equals CIA. Next, she was fluent in Russian. Is this a common language? Not unless you're working for the CIA. We also found out that Nellie Orr, well, she favored Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. Nellie Orr said that the Ukrainian lawmaker was one of Fusion GPS's sources. So we're starting to get a very good picture of what is going on. Now, we knew this all before. This is nothing new. It's coming out to the public right now. Post 3243. Q gives us a link to Fox News. Eric Holder goes on MAGA attack. Exactly when did you think America was great? So it turns out New York Governor Andrew Cuomo isn't the only prominent Democrat who questions whether America was ever that great. In pointed terms during an interview with MSNBC on Wednesday, Obama-era attorney Eric Holder posed the question to MAGA-chanting Trump supporters. Exactly when did you think America was great? Q says, and this is all caps, they do not love you or America. Welcome to the, this is in brackets in bold, D-Partycon. So the deep state never liked or wanted America to be great. And they never thought it was. The question is why? Because the people in this country have the control. People have rights. No laws are above these rights. How do you destroy America? You tell people it was never great. You make people kneel instead of saluting the flag. You try to remove the people's rights. You try to remove freedom of speech by using political correctness, politically correct speech. If you ever saw The Giver, you can see that whole society was based on politically correct speech, and no one knew what the right terms were because they switched everything around. What else did they try to get rid of? Freedom of the press. Control propaganda press. What else did they try to get rid of? Freedom to bear arms. Remove arms from the people. This is why they continually had these false flags. What else did they get rid of? Freedom of privacy. They're spying on everyone. They have malware everywhere. They have access to cameras. They've been tracking everyone through social networks. They also took away the freedom to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. You say, what do you mean? Well, think about what they've done so far. You go into an airport, you can be searched. You go into an event, you can be searched. They look through your bags. They look through your stuff. Their plan was to destroy America and control everyone after they stripped the rights away from the people. The main goal was globalism, controlled the world with unelected leaders. They were prepping the United States. They were hoping we were going to war and we were going to lose the war. And if we lose the war, the entire Constitution would be scrapped. Post 3244. Q gives us a picture of Trump, and it says, President Trump, Michigan rally tonight, 7 p.m. 1st and 10 at the 50. Q. Trump on the offensive. Post 3245. And Annan noticed on Twitter that there was missing trending numbers. Now, the Annan posted worldwide trends, and it says opening day, Yankees, pinstripe pride, Thursday thoughts, Orioles, chomp on, Phillies, World Series, and it's missing many different trending information. And down below it says, notice which worldwide Twitter trend they aren't reporting the numbers for. Corrupted and controlled, Q says. Gave us a link to Fox News. Twitter may annotate Trump's tweets and those other officials if they violate its rules. The next time Trump tweets something that's in violation of Twitter standards but still newsworthy, the 280-character message might have a note attached to it. Twitter says one of the things we're working really closely on with our product and engineer folks is how can we label that? How can we put some context around it so people are aware that the content is actually a violation of our rules and it is serving a particular purpose in remaining on the platform? Q says predictable and prepared. Q. Post 3246 gives us a previous post from August 9th, 2018. This is SpyOp, and this whole thing tells you how the flow of information moved across the Department of Justice, the FBI, No Name, which is McCain, and the rest to get to the fake news. Down below, there's a Twitter link from Paul Sperry, and it says, breaking, McCain coordinated with James Clapper on the rollout of the dossier-based ICA and the ICA briefings to Obama, Trump, and Congress in January 2017 ahead of the Trump inauguration. You have more than you know. So the SpyOp graphic shows the coordination of the intelligence agencies, who they were connected, and how the information was distributed to the mainstream media. And if you look at No Name, which is McCain, you have McCain going to the media, going to James Clapper, James Brennan, leaks, DePotus Daily Brief, FBI. This information is coming out right now. Q has already told us this, has already broken this down, but the public is just learning about this. Post 3247. Remember Q gave us those two pictures of the watches and the reflections in there? Well, let me tell you, this Annan took these pictures, figured out where the reflections were, looked at the Oval Office, and figured out where the watch was and how the picture was taken. So the first watch, which was at 3:05, there's a reflection at the top right of the watch, and the watch looks like it was on the table with the lamp, and the camera was around where the couches are. It was getting the reflection from the window right behind the president's desk, and the door that was on the left-hand side if you were sitting on at the president's desk. And it goes on and on with other pictures showing you where the watch was, who was sitting around, where the camera was facing, and there's 3 different shots of all of this. And down below, it says the watch is in the castle, which is in the Oval Office. Q says, have you applied to an intel agency? These type of skills, well, they are very hard to come by. Q says, apply to the intel agencies. We can use people like you. So that is absolutely amazing that this individual is able to figure all this out. Post 3248 gives us everything from post 3246. This was SPY-OP. And down below it says, focus here. Brackets, all caps, bold, no name, media, John Brennan, James Comey, leaks pointing to POTUS, Daily Brief, FBI. Match? Absolutely. Paul Sperry's story matches Q's post back in August 9th of 2018. Post 3249. Q gives us a post from March 14th, 2019. It says, remember this important fact. Adam Schiff is part of the Gang of 8, Intel. It will become critical once Gang of 8 material is declassified. Logical Q, if Adam Schiff knew everything he's investigating and stating publicly to be knowingly false, disinformation, why then would he take the course of action ongoing? Did Adam Schiff purposely deceive the American public thinking of the Gang of 8 material? Other classified documentation would never reach the public domain. What insurance did they hang over POTUS' head in order to prevent action? A father's love for his children knows no bounds. Q then gave us post 3178. And it says the only way to regain the trust, equal justice under the law, White House, Intel, FBI, Department of Justice, Senate, Congress, our government, of the majority of the American people, is to provide truth, transparency, and prosecution of all those who knowingly took part in this illegal manufactured effort, attempted coup to take down the President of the United States. Brackets number 1. Brackets number 1 opens the door, the Great Awakening. And it says follow keyword designators, knowingly. This is all bold and in brackets. So Schiff knew the Russian collusion, the obstruction. That information, he knew it was propaganda. But he leaked it to the press knowing that it was false. He did it purposely to deceive the American people. So he knew. And if we go to post 3250, Q gives us U.S. codes for treason, sedition, and subversion. And this is chapter 115, treason, sedition, and subversive activities. Let me just read this little section here. Whoever knowingly, this is why Q is telling us, focus on the word knowingly. Whoever knowingly or willfully advocates, abets, advises, or teaches the duty, necessity, desirability, or priority of overthrowing or destroying the government of the United States or the government of any state, territory, district, or possession thereof, or the government of any political subdivision therein, by force or violence, or by the assassination of any other or any officer of any such government, or whoever, with the intent to cause the overthrow or destruction of any such government, prints, publishes, edits, issues, circulates, sells, distributes, or publicly displays any written or printed matter advocating, advising, or teaching the duty, necessity, desirability, or priority of overthrowing or destroying any government in the United States by force or violence, or attempts to do so, or whoever organizes or helps or attempts to organize any society, group, or assembly of persons who teach, advocate, or encourage the overthrow or destruction of any such government by force or violence, becomes or is a member of or affiliates with any such society, group, or assembly of persons, knowing the purposes thereof, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years, or both, and shall be ineligible for employment by the United States or any department or agency thereof for the 5 years next following his or her conviction. So Q is telling us that Schiff knowingly, and it's not just Schiff, there are many people who knowingly or willfully did this to take down a president. This is treason, sedition. Post 3251. Q posted a meme. It's a bunch of sheep staring, and it says the left, waiting for CNN to tell them what to be upset about next. Post 3252. And Annan said, server down Q. Q says, what does that tell you about the size of the movement? Looks like there was a lot of traffic hitting the server last night, and the server went down. Post 3253. And Annan posted a screen capture of Chapter 115, Treason, Sedition, and Subversive Activities, and posted it here. And if you like to read the entire thing, you can go to Q's post, or you can come to the X22 Report, scroll down a little bit on the homepage, click the title of this report, and then scroll down. You'll see the Q's posts. Post 3254. Q gives us section 2385, advocating overthrow of government. And again, it says whoever knowingly or willfully. Down below, it says 5x5. Q. Post 3255 gives us a Twitter link to real Donald Trump. FBI and Department of Justice to review the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. It is an embarrassment to our nation. Q says, it shall be done. Q. And what's very interesting about all of this is Jussie Smollett is now nominated for the NAACP award days after the charges were dropped. And he's nominated for the 2019 NAACP Image Awards. So this is kind of amazing that he's getting an award right after all the charges were dropped. And this is what these people do. They give each other awards to make everyone think, oh, look, they got an award. Obama's getting an award. Jussie Smollett's getting an award. He was being prosecuted. Now he's off the hook. Let's give him an award. Post 3256. Q gives us a link to Secretary Carson. And it says, today at HUD.gov is charging at Facebook for violating the Fair Housing Act by encouraging, enabling, and causing housing discrimination through the company's advertising platform. Below this, it says USA vs. LifeLog, which is Facebook. CIA created LifeLog, and once LifeLog was discontinued, Facebook started the same exact day. So Facebook is LifeLog. Q says, first of many, remember, class action lawsuits. This is just the first one. We're most likely going to see this with Twitter, with Google, with YouTube, and many others. Post 3257. Q gives us a Twitter link, and it's Truth Seeker D. It says, we love you. Now, a lot of these posts that we're going to be going through, this is about people showing their support for Trump, showing their support for Q, putting out the American flag. So I'm going to skip around a little bit here. Post 3258 gives us a Twitter link, and it says, Amber Winborn, and it says, thanks, Q Annan. Sorry my highlighting skills aren't exactly straight. Little bumpy there, trying to get better at keeping a straight hand. Q says, thank you, Patriot. Sometimes our sniffer picks and pulls without applying credit. File. So Q is just acknowledging the Patriot who created the graphic in drop 3254. Post 3260 gives us a Twitter link to John Solomon, and it says, Republicans seek formal investigation into Schiff. Let me read a little part of this. Heiss's comments came as Schiff hit back at Republicans on Capitol Hill for calling for his resignation. My colleagues may think it is okay the president's son was offered dirt as part of an effort to help Trump, Schiff said. You might think it is okay. I don't. Schiff's comments were in response to Representative Mike Conway, who said that the chairman had lost the confidence of the panel by putting out a demonstrably false narrative. The findings of the special counsel conclusively refute your past and present assertions and have exposed you as abused your position to knowingly, here's that word again, knowingly promote false information, Conway said. Under this, Q says, brackets bold, knowingly, Q. I think Q is getting the point across that he knew what he was doing, and that's why he's going to be in trouble. Actually, Brennan, Clapper, Obama, Clinton, they all knew, and they're all in trouble. Post 3261. This is another picture of a front row seat VIP, and what I did is I took a lot of these pictures and I put them all together so you can see what these pictures look like. There's pictures of flags, there's people wearing Q shirts, and there's many pictures like this. Post 3262. This is a Twitter link to Jeff DeRiso, And it says, the findings of the special counsel conclusively refute your past and present assertions and have exposed you as abused your position to knowingly promote false information, calmly said. And this individual said knowingly. So post 3263 to 3302, Q recognizing all the patriots, flags out. This is why Q has been giving us these flag pics, telling us flags out. And if you like to go through all these pictures, you can. It's one picture after a picture. Again, I put them all together so you can see most of them. And you can see that this is all the patriots coming together and saying, where we go one, we go all. Let's move on to post 3279. This is John Coxton. And it says, hey Q, why are you praising so many for tonight's rally with VIP treatment? Yet during Arizona rally, I was harassed by SS and had to remove my shirt, threatened like I was carrying a bomb. So embarrassing. Q says pre-Mueller restrictions, RE false call-ins, REQ threats, by brackets bold them. Brackets bold they wanted you silenced. You are a threat to the narrative. Q. Let's go to post 3292. This is a Twitter link from Yummy Cats, and it says, I wish you were here now, Dad. You were at Normandy on D-Day and made it back to live a life to be proud of. You always said at real Donald Trump would make a great president. Wish you lived to see it now. He's changing the world. Love you, miss you. Q says, rest in peace, Patriot. Your sacrifice will never be forgotten. Strength and honor, Q. Let's move on to the next post here. This is post 3303. And Annan put up a Twitter account. This is Underculture. And it says, Annan posted a Twitter account. Underculture joined March 2019. And in this Twitter account, they tweeted, and it's actually a picture of Kim Jong-un. And on top it says, there's a picture of Trump, or half a picture of Trump. And it says, made it in and there's still plenty of room. Keep them coming. Down below, the Annan said, alert Q team. 1 month old account, made it in. He's giving updates as to his position in a sly way, letting his handlers know he's in. Q responded and said, eyes on. Secret Service has eyes on the person. So it was a very busy night in Grand Rapids, Michigan. A lot of people were posting all over the boards on 8chan, and they were showing the flags. They were showing everything, showing that we're coming together. A lot of people wearing Q shirts. And you can see that Q is continually telling us to look at the word knowingly, because Q is pointing us to treason, sedition, which means these people were knowingly trying to take down a president, knowingly putting out fake information to deceive the American public. And this is very serious, and you can see why the deep state is panicking. You can see why they're so worried that everything that they've done is falling apart. Who's in control? The patriots. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.